Here's another clip from Amy Stelly discussing gentrification. And to be honest, she could probably put it better than any of us could.
Yep, definitely.
On the topic of gentrification, how does gentrification take root in a community?
Let's take short-term rentals, for instance. So, as I said, property owners who had rental properties sat on them, and they either converted them to short-term rentals when the short-term rental market started to get hot, right? But those who wanted to sell realized that they could sell for a huge profit. So folks, I'll take the house across the street from me. At one time, it listed for $70,000, and the owner wouldn't sell. He wouldn't sell to anybody. And then the market opened up with short-term rentals, and he could sell it for $200,000. So he did, and he didn't do anything. Now, in New Orleans, $200,000 is a lot of money because folks who are in the who work in the tourist and the hospitality sector, some of them earn minimum wage. They can't afford a $200,000 house. The short-term rental market exploded here. And now that $200,000 house is worth $450,000. A hospitality worker can't buy that. So the people that I grew up with who lived in that house across the street could not afford to come back to the house where they lived for years and years and years and years. So the folks who buy these properties now have cash, and they are mostly people who are moving to New Orleans because folks who are here, who are still here, if they don't own a home and they're working a minimum wage job, they can't buy a home. So gentrification is taking hold because the market is for people who can afford to make cash purchases in a lot of places, but they're liquid, right? They can get a mortgage. And we know this is a red line neighborhood still, right? So getting a mortgage here, if you don't come with a lot of cash, if you're Black, it's going to be difficult for you to get a $450,000 mortgage to move in a house that used to be a short-term rental. So the market here is really dynamic in that way. It's cooling up a bit because we are trying to curb the short-term rental market. That's what's driving gentrification now, I can tell you. So we're trying to curb it a little bit, but the property values are not dropping quickly. So folks who are coming in with cash don't look like me.
So as we're nearing the end of our episode, I just want to just ask the question of, like, what are the different connections that you can draw between Treme and Rondo?
Yeah, there's this big connection of, Rondo, there's a northern route. We all know that it was like a route that didn't really do much, didn't displace anybody.
Right.
But instead, it just went with the route that went straight through community.
Yeah.
Right.
You're talking about Pierce Butler, right?
Yeah. In Treme, there's two highways that we're going to go through, right? One highway was going to go through Treme. Another highway was going to go through the French Quarter, which is a mostly white community. The people in French Quarter rightfully said no to it, right? They, lobbied against it, protested against it, and they got it canceled. But in Treme, they did the same thing, still went through.
So they respected the voices of the French Quarter, but not the voices of Treme at all.
Nope.
Wow.
That's a parallel I can distinguish because two routes. The one went through community of color. Right.
The French Quarter had the money and the political power to say, like, no, we don't want this in our community, and then the government respected that.
Right. Rightfully so, right? You don't want a highway through your community that you lived there for many years. But in Treme, they didn't. It's very interesting how, like, the government's like, what are you talking about? This is a good thing. Like, this is great for your neighborhood. But then, like, the French Quarter, they're like, no, we don't want this in our community. So it's almost like they know it's going to negatively impact neighborhoods. So And as you see, in French Quarter, they're doing great now. You see photos of it and videos of like the parades going through there.
Right.
Bunch of culture.
I've seen it.
They're doing fine.
Mm-hmm.
So we see. I wonder what they would have been like if the proposed highway did go through.
Wow.
Alternate universe. Get to explore.
I was gonna bring up mostly the fact that I feel like that shouldn't even be a political issue. Like, I'm just kind of referring to the fact that you said political power.
Mm-hmm.
These people had political power. And the only real power they had is that they were white. That was their power.
Right.
That
Right.
was their political power.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it shouldn't have been a political issue.
No.
It shouldn't be.
Nope, not at all.
It's about
I
people's
guess.
homes and businesses and
People's lives and
Yeah.
their community and their like.
It's less of a parallel, I guess, and more just an observation.
Definitely.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Voices of Rondo podcast. On the next episode, we'll be going over MnDOT's possible reimagining for I-94, as well as community thoughts and concerns on possible gentrification of the land bridge, as well as Houston and Miami. You can find us on our website, our YouTube page, wherever else you find us.
Yep. We're out there.
Yeah, go find us.
Yeah.
www.reconnectrondo.com.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for
Thank
watching.
you for watching.
Thank you for watching our podcast. If you like what you see, give us a like, hit that subscribe button, and click that notification bell to get notified when we put out new podcast episodes. Thank you for watching our podcast. If you like what you see, give us a like, hit that subscribe button, and click that notification bell to get notified when we put out new podcast episodes.